Does every conversation about your aging parents turn into a family argument? Well, you start out talking about grab bars or doctor visits, money, driving, or getting help in the house. And then 10 minutes later, someone is very defensive, someone is crying, someone has left the room, and your husband is staring at the ceiling like is silently applying for a witness protection program. And if that sounds familiar, this story is for you. So hi, I'm Suzanne Fasella, a retired physician assistant, healthcare advocate who teaches family caregivers how to go from emotional chaos to strong leadership in senior care. And you get this with less exhaustion and the right resources. And you'll have more confidence too. So today I want to show you why one good family talk does not fix everything. But a repeatable caregiving structure can change the way your whole family is going to handle their problems. See, I don't teach people, I don't fix people's problems. I teach them how to fix their own problems. Tanya thought the hard part was over. Her mom, Beverly, had finally admitted that she needed help after months of saying, I can manage, everything's fine, I'm okay, I'm doing great. Her dad, Frank, agreed to stop climbing on ladders after one unforgettable incident, right? Involving a gutter, a squirrel, and a neighbor yelling, don't move. Tanya's husband, Marcus, had stopped saying, your parents are taking over our life, and started asking, what's the plan? How different that sounds. What's the plan? So it felt like progress. And it was progress. For about 6 days, everybody was working together. That's usually about as long as it goes. And then Beverly decided they should remodel the bathroom. What's up with that, right? You're just getting everybody situated, and now we're going to throw a wrench in the fan. Frank wanted to supervise the contractor, and he was excited about doing that. Tanya wanted safety bars, better lighting, and a walk-in shower, so she was pulling back and wanting control. Marcus, her husband, wanted a budget, a timeline, and one dinner conversation that did not involve tile samples. Suddenly, the family was back in the chaos again, but it was just on a different topic. It was the same pattern all over again. And that is what caregiving does to us. So every time we have an issue, we go right back into the chaos again. You solve one issue and the next walks right in wearing boots. The bathroom remodel looked like the problem, but it wasn't. We're back to step one. The real problem was that the family did not yet have a repeatable way to make decisions. That is why caregiving feels so exhausting at times. There's one problem over the next problem. Every issue feels brand new, but it's really not. Think about driving. Driving brings up all these issues: who's in control, who's not, who's losing independence. Medications brings up another issue. Doctor appointments. Why so many doctor's appointments? What's the doctor going to give me? Another pill. Home safety. You can't stay in your home anymore. You got to move out. You got to change it. Bills. Why are you spending so much money? Do you have the money? Siblings never agree on anything. Outside help coming in, not going to afford it, can't afford it. And the emergency plans that come up, and we'll talk about those. But each problem looks different. And most caregiving problems need the same foundation. And that means we slow down, we name the real issue, we separate the facts from the fear, we decide what belongs to the senior, and we decide what belongs to the caregiver and what belongs to the adult children. So we build guardrails in place. Everybody has their own lane. We take the next steady step. Without that structure, every conversation becomes emotional bumper cars again. And the thing is, everyone in Tanya's family wanted something real. Beverly wanted dignity. Frank wanted control. Tanya wanted safety. Marcus wanted his home life back without looking at tile samples 24/7. Nobody was completely wrong. They all wanted what was best for the parents. And that is what makes caregiving so hard. It would be easier if one person were obviously ridiculous And yes, sometimes there is one completely ridiculous person. And Thanksgiving usually confirms this. I've seen it so many times. But most of the time, caregiving big conflict happens because everyone is protecting something. They're protecting something. What are they protecting? The family does not need a winner. The family needs a process, a place where everybody can come and safely lay down what their concerns are. The first solution was to stop treating every decision like a crisis. It was not. Not every issue needs to be an emergency. The bathroom remodel is not a code red unless water is pouring through the ceiling or someone has installed the toilet in the pantry. Okay? The family needs a decision rhythm. What is urgent? What is important? So when we're talking about guardrails, why are those important right now? What can wait? What facts do we need? And who decides? Let's everybody throw out their opinion, but who decides? Who advises? Who pays for all of this? Who follows up with the contractor on all of this? That structure lowers the emotional heat, and it also helps the contractor decide who's in charge. The second solution was to define roles. And again, this is important if the work is going to be done correctly. Tanya could gather safety recommendations. Marcus could compare contractor estimates. Beverly could choose finishes with safety options. And Frank could be included in a way that did not involve climbing, lifting, drilling, or declaring himself basically the contractor. Okay? Even though he knew how to remodel, it didn't mean he had to do it. Plus, there's so many new things out there nowadays he probably doesn't even know about. So when the roles are set, everybody feels like they're part of the whole process and not a power struggle. And the third solution was to keep practicing the new identity. Tanya was learning not to rescue. Marcus was learning not to shut down. Beverly was learning to accept support. And here came Frank. He was learning that leadership did not require a ladder. Now, it's important here to understand something more. It's important to understand that the leadership roles that each of us take on means that we allow the other person to speak, and we don't have to comment. We allow them to speak, and when we do not comment, it means we heard them. It is very important. When my loved one says to me, I'm canceling my appointment with the doctor, I don't think I need to see the doctor today. I know he needs to see the doctor, but I'm not going to argue with him. I hear him. And I say, you know what? It sounds like today is not going to work for you. Tell me what you thought the doctor was about. And I let him tell me, well, the doctor just wants to, do a checkup, and I'll probably order more labs, and I don't really need those right now. And maybe he's right. And I say, you know what? It sounds like today may not be the good day. Why don't we check in with your doctor and see if next month will work better? And then maybe you might have some other issues to talk to him about. So it's not an emergency. This isn't a Jack Bauer lifestyle where he's always going to save 1 million people from a nuclear bomb or a virus or something like that. There doesn't have to be an emergency on everything. Sometimes we can put this off. And that's why people go to their doctors and sees them in the office instead of the emergency room, because not everything has to be an emergency. I hope you understand that. So nobody masters all of this in one conversation. And this took a lot of practice on my part, because conversation in senior care is a new language. That is why steady care has to be practiced, not just discussed. It has to be practiced over and over and over again until we get the words right. The family can have one honest conversation and then slip right back into the old dance by Tuesday. That does not mean they failed. It means they are human. And when we're human, we learn. And when we learn, we get just a little better. So the goal is not perfection. The goal is noticing the patterns sooner and returning to structure faster. If every family talk about senior care turns into a fight, you might want to subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who is burning out on their own senior care, because this all makes YouTube share it with others. Because one good conversation may open the door, but repeated structure is what actually changes the family. And I've seen this happen. It's amazing. That is what Tanya needed. It's what Marcus needed. It's what Beverly and Frank needed too. They needed to change the language. So it wasn't more panic. It wasn't more pressure. It was about being the pressure release valve. That's what I teach families. It's not another argument. They needed a steady way to handle the next problem and do it with the pressure release valve. So aging is going to always bring on new problems, right? And so I don't teach you how to fix the problem. I teach you how to fix all the problems as they come. That's reality. The transformation happens when every new problem no longer knocks the whole family sideways. So I won't fix your problem. I'll teach you how to fix them. So if you want to learn more, and I have a link in the description for my weekly newsletter, but you can also put your name on the wait list. I take 25 students at a time in my next 12-week cohort, where I teach family caregivers how to become the trusted leader that their senior is going to look up to, so caregiving can run smoother, your family is going to feel calmer, and you can finally stop starting over again with every new problem. And I can only take 25 because I work with you individually, but we practice this new language and these new mindsets, and we'll get it right. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.